All right, you guys, this is the Keeping It Raw podcast, back at you with another video on today. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, click on that bell so that you'll be notified whenever we put up an upload. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into our installment. All right, guys, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to talk about something because it's kind of been on my mind since last night. And I'm thinking, since the Detroit Lions did not so far grab a quarterback, a backup quarterback from the free agency yet, is the Lions thinking about moving up to number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals? Now, my reason for bringing this up is because this is something that Brad Holmes could be pondering and thinking about. They could do a deal. This is a couple of deals that I think that I have in my mind if the Lions want to take a quarterback early. Now, I know that there is still a lot of quarterbacks that the Lions could choose. Maybe they're not sold on those guys like Tanner McKee, Malik Cunningham, Max Dugan, guys like that, Jake Hayner from Fresno State. Maybe they may not be sold on these guys. So I don't know what Brad Holmes is initially thinking, because a lot of us are thinking that the Lions are going to stay at 6 and take a defensive lineman or something of that nature. I don't think that they're going to go with corner right now, especially with taking all these corners and defensive backs and the free agency and trying to get better defensively on the back end of your defense. So the Lions could very well take BPA, best player available. But I started thinking and started pondering, and I started thinking that the Lions could come up to number 3 with the Arizona Cardinals. Maybe they give them a deal where, because the Cardinals just lost their starting corner in Byron Murphy, and they asked the Detroit Lions for Jeffrey Okudah and the number 6 pick overall. So that's a possible scenario that could play out, that the Lions give up Jeffrey Okudah to the Arizona Cardinals for the 3rd pick overall, or they could do this as well. They could, the Lions could give them the first round pick, which is number 6, and they also could get a 3rd round pick from the Lions as well. I think that that's pretty much a good deal for the Cardinals. I don't know who wants to come up and get a quarterback, because all of these quarterback needy teams, they will come up. The only reason why I'm saying this is because the Lions have not yet to bring back a free agent quarterback. They have not signed anybody in free agency. So is this Brad Holmes' plan to go up and trade up to number 3 with the Cardinals and take either Will Levis or Anthony Richardson? Now, I know some of you guys are probably cursing me out in the comment section, but at the same time, just think about it. This is something that could probably play out. This is a scenario that you could go with, or you can also go with best player available at 6 for the Lions, whether they get Jalen Carter, whether they take a Will Anderson, a Tyree Wilson, maybe they decide to get a receiver, whatever they decide to do. The Lions, pretty much, when you look at the situation now in the draft, they could go in any direction that they want to go in. So I'm really puzzled on what Brad Holmes is up to, because you don't really know what he's going to do. So far, you haven't seen anything about any other team coming up. The Arizona Cardinals have already made it clear that they want to trade down, and they still could trade down. They could trade down with the Lions. They could trade down with Seattle or whatever, but the Lions do have the capital. The Lions have the capital. They could trade away Jeffrey Okudah and give them a starting corner in Jeffrey Okudah, since they just lost Byron Murphy to the Minnesota Vikings. Or they could do a deal where they take the number 6 pick overall from the Lions and take a 3rd round pick from the Lions. I don't know if the Lions are sold on these late round quarterbacks, man. I really don't know. Now, what I do know from the information, from the scouting and stuff like that, what Lions did earlier in the season, they did go to 5 of Florida's games. Now, I don't know if they were in love with Anthony Richardson. I don't know if that's the guy that they really want. But Anthony Richardson, definitely the potential is there. He has a high ceiling. I know a lot of Lions fans really don't want him because they feel like he's inconsistent and that this kid can't get better. But I just want you to pump your brakes for a moment. This kid has the opportunity to get better. It's a perfect situation for him to be able to sit behind Jared Goff and be able to learn the offense and be able to learn his mechanics, get his footwork down, and be able to make sure that he's throwing a more accurate football. It's time for him to do that. I think if Anthony Richardson is thrown out to the Wolves, it could be a disaster for him. But if he sits behind a quarterback like Jared Goff, which the Lions will have to pay, because everybody is talking about Super Bowl and winning the North and going to the playoffs. If Jared Goff takes this team to the Super Bowl, you bet your bottom dollar the Lions are going to have to cash this man out. And he's going to wait. He's going to make anywhere between 45 to 50 million. So right now is the greatest opportunity that the Lions have right now is to get them a young quarterback, to groom that quarterback, and to be able to let him eventually, if they feel like it's the right time to move on from a Jared Goff, they could move on easily. But you know what I'm saying? I just want to know, man, as a fan, what do you guys think? What do you guys think that the Lions are going to do ultimately? Will the Lions move up to the number 3 pick overall in the draft? And the possible scenarios that I gave you, do you think that this could play out? Do you think that this is something that Brad Holmes is pondering on? Is he thinking about coming up to the number 3 pick and grabbing either Richardson or Levis or whoever's available? What if Bryce Young slides down? Then you grab Bryce Young. What if C.J. Stroud falls down? Even if you may not be in love with them, you probably still grab him. Getting a quarterback on a rookie deal, man, is definitely a blessing to your franchise because you will have to pay a lot of money to Jared Goff. If Jared Goff still has the same type of season, you're going to have to pay him a lot of money, man. So if you're a Lions fan, this is something to really, really think about. Will Brad Holmes trade up to the number 3 pick overall? Or will he just stay content with being at 6 and just grabbing the best player available, whether it's Jalen Carter, whether it's Will Anderson, whether it be a guy like a Tyree Wilson, or even taking a offensive lineman or just, corner, whatever they decide to go with. Safety, whatever. I don't think they'll do something like that with the corner and safety, drafting them that high, especially with making all the free agency moves that they made. But this is something to ponder in your mind. Will Brad Holmes come up and give a call to the Arizona Cardinals to come get that 3 pick overall and ride off in the sunset with a Will Levis or either a Anthony Richardson? Now, I know it's not probably you guys' favorite quarterbacks to take, but this is a possible scenario because we do not have a backup quarterback in Detroit. So this could play out. This truly can happen in Detroit. Brad Holmes could trade up to the number 3 pick overall. Currently, you haven't heard any other team come up so far to come and get the quarterback. And we know that the quarterbacks are going to be gone, man. You're talking about like 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going to be out of here. So is this on Brad Holmes' mind because he did not pick up a quarterback? He could just kept Nate Sudfeld on the team. So I just want to know what he's thinking, man, because this scenario I was pondering on so much. I'm thinking that this could play out, that Holmes could come up and end up taking a quarterback and trading with the Cardinals. Or he could just stay put and take whoever comes at 6 and then whoever comes at 18, he just pick him up. I think he'll do best player available or he moves up. And if something is that he sees that somebody else wants to come up and get the quarterback and they're giving off more capital, then maybe that's a move that he wants to do as well. And maybe he wants to trade down. We don't know. But with all these defensive backs being added to the team now, what direction will Brad Holmes go with that number 6 position overall? What will he do? So guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I just wanted to put something on your mind on today. Do you think that Brad Holmes would trade up with the Arizona Cardinals at 3? Or do you even think that Brad Holmes would trade down? Or what do you think is the best scenario? Do he go best player available? Or do he just takes what comes to him at 6? These are possible scenarios that could play out in the 2023 NFL Draft. All right, you guys, this is the Keeping It Raw podcast, and I'll be back to you with another video. I'm out of here. Until next time, peace.
Man.